If you're over 60 and you've started to feel like your legs just aren't what they used to, maybe getting up from a chair feels harder, walking upstairs leaves you winded, or you catch yourself holding onto railings more often, this is not just normal aging. And it's definitely not something you have to accept. Because what most people don't realize is that after the age of 50, we begin losing muscle mass at a rate of up to 1 to 2% per year. And even more importantly, we lose strength even faster, which directly affects balance, independence, and your ability to live life on your own terms. But here's the surprising part. Traditional exercises like squats, especially the way most people try to do them, are often not only ineffective for older adults, they can actually increase joint stress, aggravate knee pain, and discourage consistency, which is why so many people give up before they ever see real results. But today we're going to flip that completely. Because in this video, you'll discover 3 simple, science-backed exercises that target the exact muscles responsible for stability, walking power, and fall prevention. And they do it in a way that is safer, more controlled, and significantly more effective than standard squats. And one of these movements has been shown in clinical settings to activate key lower body muscles up to 15 times, more efficiently than traditional bodyweight squats, making it one of the most powerful yet underrated exercises for seniors. And the best part is, you don't need a gym, expensive equipment, or even much time to start seeing improvements. Because these exercises are designed to work with your body, not against it, helping you rebuild strength, improve circulation, protect your joints, and restore confidence in every step you take. So before we dive into the first exercise, ask yourself this: how much longer are you willing to let weak legs limit your freedom, when just a few minutes a day could completely change how you move, feel, and live? Now here's where things get really interesting. Because the first exercise we're about to show you may look almost too simple to work, but don't let that fool you. Because this movement directly targets the muscles that are most responsible for keeping you steady on your feet, your glutes, and your hamstrings, and these are the exact muscles that tend to weaken the fastest as we age, leading to slower walking speed, poor balance, and a much higher risk of falls. And what makes this exercise so powerful is that it trains these muscles in a way that mimics real-life movement, not artificial gym patterns, which means the strength you build actually transfers into your daily activities. So instead of struggling to stand up, you start to feel more controlled, more stable, and more confident with every step you take. And this exercise is called the seated to stand controlled rise. And it's a game changer for anyone over 60 because it removes the strain from your knees while still fully activating your lower body. So here's exactly how to do it. Sit on a sturdy chair with your feet flat on the ground, about shoulder width apart. Make sure your knees are aligned with your toes, and your back is straight but relaxed. Then slowly lean your torso slightly forward, just enough to shift your weight over your feet, and from there, press through your heels and stand up slowly, focusing on squeezing your glutes as you rise. But here's the key detail most people miss: you don't just stand up quickly. You control the entire motion, especially the way down. Because lowering yourself slowly back into the chair creates a powerful muscle-building stimulus without putting stress on your joints. And this slow, controlled descent is where the real magic happens, because it strengthens your muscles in a safe and sustainable way. And if this feels too easy at first, you can increase the challenge by pausing halfway up or halfway down for a few seconds, which forces your muscles to work even harder and improves your stability dramatically. And if it feels too difficult, you can use your hands lightly on your thighs for support. But over time, the goal is to rely less and less on your arms. And here's something most people don't realize: being able to stand up from a chair without using your hands is one of the strongest indicators of long-term mobility and independence. So every repetition you do is not just an exercise. It's a direct investment in your ability to live freely without assistance. And even doing just 8 to 12 slow repetitions once or twice a day can begin to rebuild strength faster than you might expect. And many physical therapists actually prioritize this exact movement over traditional squats for older adults because it's safer, more functional, and far easier to stay consistent with. And as you practice this over the next few days, you may start to notice something surprising, not just stronger legs, but better balance, smoother movement, and a growing sense of confidence that carries into everything you do. But we're just getting started. Because the second exercise takes this to another level by specifically targeting the muscles that protect your knees and stabilize your entire lower body in ways that most people completely overlook. Now, let's move into the second exercise. And this is where we start addressing one of the biggest hidden problems that causes weakness: knee pain and instability in people over 60, and that is underactive hip stabilizers, especially the muscles on the sides of your hips, because when these muscles are weak, your knees begin to collapse inward during walking, standing, and even simple movements like turning or stepping sideways, which puts unnecessary stress on your joints and dramatically increases your risk of falls. And the worst part is, most people never train these muscles properly, because traditional exercises like squats or walking alone simply don't activate them enough, which is exactly why this next movement can feel so different and so effective. And it's called the standing side leg raise with control. And while it may look simple, it targets those neglected stabilizer muscles directly, helping you build the kind of strength that keeps your body aligned and protected in real-life situations. So here's how to do it correctly. Stand tall next to a wall, chair, or countertop for balance. Keep your posture upright, your core gently engaged, and your feet hip-width apart. Then slowly lift one leg out to the side without leaning your body or tilting your shoulders. And this part is critically, are not trying to lift your leg as high as possible. You are trying to keep your body completely still while your hip does the work. Because the moment your torso starts leaning, you lose the activation where it matters most. So lift your leg just to a comfortable height. Pause for 1 or 2 seconds at the top, and then slowly lower it back down with full control, and again. The lowering phase is just as important as the lift itself, because that's where deep muscle engagement happens. And if you want to make this even more effective, you can slightly turn your toes forward, or even a little downward, which shifts more of the work into the glute medius, the key muscle responsible for keeping your pelvis stable when you walk. And this has a direct impact on your balance, your stride, and your ability to move without fear of falling. And you should aim for about 10 to 15 controlled repetitions on each side. And don't be surprised if you start to feel a deep burn on the outside of your hips, because that's a sign those muscles are finally being activated properly. And over time, as these stabilizers get stronger, you'll notice that your knees feel more supported, your walking becomes smoother, and even standing for longer periods feels easier and more comfortable. And here's something powerful: studies have shown that improving lateral hip strength can significantly reduce fall risk in older adults, sometimes more effectively than general lower body training alone, because it directly improves how your body reacts to sudden shifts in balance, like when you trip or step on uneven ground. And if this exercise feels too easy, you can add a resistance band around your legs to increase the challenge, or slow down the tempo even more to keep constant tension on the muscles. And if it feels difficult, that's perfectly okay. Just reduce the range of motion and focus on control, because consistency matters far more than intensity at this stage. And as you begin to master this movement, you'll start building a level of stability that most people your age never achieve. But we're not done yet, because the third exercise is where everything comes together. Targets not just strength, but coordination, circulation, and the exact movement pattern that determines how safely and confidently you walk every single day. Now this third exercise is where everything truly comes together. Because it doesn't just build strength, it retrains your body to move safely, smoothly, and confidently in the exact way you use your legs every single day. And this is something most traditional workouts completely ignore, which is why so many people can feel stronger but still struggle with balance, coordination, or even simple walking. And this movement is called the heel-to-toe walking pattern. And it may sound basic, but in reality, it's one of the most powerful ways to restore proper gait mechanics, improve circulation, and strengthen the smaller, stabilizing muscles that protect you from sudden loss of balance. Because as we age, our walking pattern often becomes shorter, flatter, and less controlled, which reduces muscle activation and increases the risk of tripping. But by consciously retraining this pattern, you can reverse many of those effects surprisingly quickly. So here's how to do it. Stand tall with your shoulders relaxed, your eyes looking forward, not down, and take a slow step forward by placing your heel on the ground first. Then gradually rolling your foot through to your toes, pushing off gently as you bring your other leg forward. And the key here is control and awareness. Not speed, because each step should feel deliberate, stable and balanced, almost like you're walking on a straight line with intention. And if you want to make this more challenging, you can place one foot directly in front of the other, heel touching toe, like a tightrope walk, which dramatically increases balance demand and activates deeper stabilizing muscles. And if that feels too difficult, simply widen your stance slightly and focus on smooth, controlled steps, and aim for about 20 to 30 slow steps, back and forth once or twice a day. And what makes this exercise so effective is that it directly improves the connection between your brain and your muscles, enhancing coordination, reaction time, and body awareness, which are critical factors in preventing falls. And at the same time, this rolling motion of the foot helps stimulate blood flow in your lower legs, reducing stiffness, improving joint mobility, and even helping with issues like cold feet or poor circulation. And over time, many people notice that their walking becomes lighter, more fluid, and less tiring, and they no longer feel that constant need to watch every step out of fear of losing balance. And here's something most people overlook: your ability to walk confidently is not just about your legs. It's about timing, coordination, and trust in your body. And this simple exercise rebuilds all three at once in a way that feels natural and sustainable. And when you combine this with the first two exercises, you're no longer just strengthening isolated muscles. You're rebuilding a complete system that supports your independence, your safety, and your quality of life every single day. But there's one more thing you need to understand if you want to get real results from these exercises. Because how you perform them and how consistently you apply them will determine whether you see small improvements or a complete transformation in how your body feels and moves. Now, here's the part that most people either overlook or underestimate. And it's the exact reason why some people see incredible results from these exercises, while others feel like nothing really changes. And it all comes down to how you apply them in your daily life. Because consistency always beats intensity, especially after 60. And what your body truly needs is regular, controlled stimulation that allows your muscles, joints, and nervous system to adapt safely over time, not occasional bursts of effort followed by long breaks. So instead of trying to do everything perfectly or pushing yourself too hard in one session, focus on building a simple routine you can stick to every single day, even if it's just 5 to 10 minutes. Because that small daily investment compounds faster than you think. And a great way to start is by combining all three exercises into a short sequence. Begin with your controlled seated to stand repetitions to activate your major muscles. Then move into your side leg raises to wake up your stabilizers. And finish with your heel to toe walking to integrate everything into real movement. And this sequence not only strengthens your legs, but also reinforces balance, coordination, and confidence in one smooth flow. And as the days go by, you can gradually increase your repetitions. Slow down your tempo or add light resistance, but always prioritize control and proper form over doing more, because that's what protects your joints and ensures long-term progress. And here's something powerful to remember: your body is incredibly responsive at any age. And studies consistently show that even people in their 70s, 80s, and beyond can rebuild significant strength, improve mobility, and reduce their risk of falls with the right kind of training. So it's never too late to start, and every small effort you make today is actively reshaping how you'll move, feel, and live in the months and years ahead. And if you stay consistent with these 3 exercises, you may begin to notice changes that go far beyond just stronger legs. Getting up becomes easier. Walking feels smoother. Your balance improves. And that underlying fear of falling slowly starts to disappear, replaced by a sense of control and independence that many people think is gone forever. And that's the real goal here, not just exercise, but giving you back the freedom to live your life without limitations. So start today, keep it simple, stay consistent, and let your body show you just how much it's still capable of.